The college football playoff is everything.
Toughness, growth, sacrifices.
Laser focus.
This is where I think
everything you got all damn day.
The attention to detail is like none other.
Keep physical. Keep fighting. We are the winners.
Tulane takes on Ole Miss, followed by James Madison in Oregon.
It's time to bring it.
First round coverage of the college football playoff presented by Allstate. Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on TNT and HBO Max. Are you ready?
Let's go!
This is a real good story about Bronx and his dad, Ryan. Real United Airlines customers.
We were returning home, and one of the flight attendants asked Bronx if he wanted to see the flight deck and meet Captain Andrew.
I got to sit in the driver's seat.
I grew up in an aviation family, and seeing Bronx kind of reminded me of myself when I was that age.
That's Andrew, a real United pilot.
These small interactions can shape a kid's future.
It felt like I was the captain.
Allowing my son to see the flight deck will stick with us forever.
That's how good leads the way.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. Good to have you on board here on a Football Friday. We're live in downtown Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot. Busy hour coming up. I have an incredible trend on a team in 15 minutes. That's 18-1 straight up, 17-2 ATS based on where the point spread is this week. Doug Kezirian on the program in 30 minutes. We kicked this around last night after the NFL game. We kind of think there's something out there that's free money right now. I know you can never say that, but we'll talk about it and tell you what it is at the bottom of the hour at our best bets for the weekend. Got to tell you this, Pauly. Kickoff coming up in about 2 hours in Norman. Alabama now out to a 2-point favorite at some books. Taking money here on game day. I talked to Mike Palm about that the other day. Well, he was on the air with us on Wednesday. They'll take, like during the week, they were taking $100,000 on this game, $150,000 on game day. They'll take big bets.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yep. That's also impressive what they're taking on the fight tonight. Can't believe it. You come in, you can get, what, 50,000 on the app?
I was on the app. I was like, Jake Paul's 8-1. Let me see what they'll take. 50,000 to win 400,000. I don't know if that was an issue or they had to go tinker with that, or if they were actually, if somebody wanted to get that much down, would they do it?
That's phenomenal. But they also have Wynn tonight, too, that can play into this. So just
like last night.
Yeah, well, sure. Yeah. Well, hopefully the Wynn will deliver here. But this could be an ugly game. And this is just how does Oklahoma score if Alabama doesn't turn it over? Can Oklahoma go 80 yards without big plays? Can Oklahoma have a 12-play drive? They got the best kicker in college football, but Batir hasn't been the same since the injury. And we all watched the LSU game, fortunate to win, blown coverage. The Missouri game, same thing. Now the defense is the nuts, no doubt about it. It's a top 5 defense, but how are they going to go down the field and have a sustained drive unless it's a boo-boo or a mistake from Alabama, where it's a turnover or it's a blown coverage or a key missed tackle, something like that. I just can't see it because I've been watching this team for a month, and there was a ton of people who were saying this is not a playoff team. I don't want to watch this team. That's how bad the offense was.
Maybe the defense is just so good that it carries the day again tonight. Maybe they put on a clinic last year when Alabama went to Norman and played, and they were absolutely embarrassed. And Oklahoma was terrible as a football team last year, but they killed them. And maybe they just have their number.
Well, remember what Brad Powers said last week? It was such a good line. That doesn't even resemble or look anything like Alabama when it was Saban. Not tough. No. Can't run the ball. Started the season with a blowout. Ended the season, or at least their last game, with a blowout. When did that ever happen?
Well,
right?
They also had a bunch of guys who were hurt and out for the SEC title game.
But that's the comeback, too. They have a hell of a resume. They had some big wins. But they haven't played well since the middle of October in that Tennessee game. And Oklahoma top 10 in all these categories with total defense, points allowed, and rushing yards allowed. 406 to 212. Bama yards, first game. But turnovers, 3 rip. That's what did them in. I still think Bama's going to win. But then again, Oklahoma, it's kind of like we'll get to coming up with this Bears game. Like, how long can this work out, right? How long can you do this with the turnovers and the breaks going your way?
I'm confident enough in saying it's going to work out again tomorrow night.
Okay.
Well, maybe not. Maybe they don't need it, but I think they win the game anyway. I bet them +1.5. So this is a good tweet from College Football Nerds. looking at breaking down the Alabama-Oklahoma game. First and third string running backs were out. Second string playing hurt. First and second string left guard out. First string tight end out. First string center playing hurt. Second string center out. Both first string cornerbacks out. The list goes on and on and on. About 8 starters. More than a third of the lineup. 4 lost mid-game due to getting banged up then. Mm-hmm. Other guys getting injured. The expectation is that 7 of the 8 starters will be back for the game tonight. Doesn't that really matter? And did that not play into their performance maybe a little bit against Georgia? So,
well, that's the other thing. You were the whole country watched that game. It was a standalone game. To get this team out of the playoff too, you were humiliated.
Yeah, I really think both these teams should have not made the playoff. But here we are with a game coming up again in about 2 hours.
Yeah.
NFL. Chargers, Cowboys, this total is below 50. So the Chargers defense is a good unit overall. We've seen that on full display now, like many weeks. Is it good enough to contain the Cowboys offense? And then with that banged up offense on their side of the ball, the Chargers, not the Bolts, are they going to be able to get a bunch of points on the board? I'm asking because I really want to bet the over in the game. But the Chargers are not a great over team here with how many guys they've had. They've been banged up, how the defense can play, and how this is going to be Herbert probably running for his life, and the offensive running attack probably won't be there against this Dallas defense.
No, you can do that. You have a lot of confidence in that. Just look at the track record here with Dallas home games and the fact that the Chargers made Tua look good. They gave up 38 at home to the Colts. They had that horrible performance against Jacksonville. Lost 35-6. I mean, you also have to factor in the schedule, too. You're catching teams at the right time. Raiders, Eagles are a mess. Caught the Chiefs at the right time. A little bit of weather. Gave up, there was a punt return. Gave up 20 to Tennessee. But it just trust the numbers here that Dallas home games been going to the moon with a ton of points. And Dallas 13-1 over first half. Dallas 12-2 over the team total. I think both teams will move the ball.
Well, what are we going to get from George Pickens in this game?
Well, that's a good question. Who knows? He's cost himself a lot of money.
I would think.
With his no-shows the last couple of weeks and how he's acting and behaving.
I think Herbert rushing yards again is worth a look in this game. The guy did it again. Mm-hmm. Big time against the Eagles anyway. And that's going to be a thing for the rest of the year. That's going to be a thing in the playoffs.
Look at these numbers. Dallas home games, combined points, 77, 80, 66, 59, and 60.
Yeah.
Going back.
Well, those are all in that range where it's at right now, 49.5 for the total. There's a 48.5 out there as well. Well, that's a prediction market. Those are all key numbers, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. I would love to have under 48.5, but 49.5 actually might be worth laying some money on. I think this game's going to be an over as well. It's Atlanta and Arizona.
Yep.
So Arizona's recent games, and this is because of one of the worst defenses metric-wise, no matter how you cut it up defensively. And so they fall behind a lot early, and then it's just okay, we don't have a running attack, and all of our running backs are hurt for the most part anyway. Jacoby, why don't you go out there and throw the ball 50 times again, right? So recent scores, this is just for Arizona. 40-20, 45-17. There was a 20-17 game in there. I think that was the Cowboys game. That might have been Tampa Bay. 27-24, 41-22, 44-22, 27-23, 31-27. You get my point. And we saw what the Falcons look like. Now, they did a lot of that when they were down big, but they had to throw the ball against the Buccaneers. But Pitts was popping. London, I think, is going to come back and play in this game.
Questionable.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you have what should be, and then you got Robinson obviously running and catching the ball as well. They're going to score. Mike Zomich came on last hour, made a great case for their team total to go over. Well, if they go over 26.5, I'm pretty comfortable in saying that Brissett's going to probably be able to put 3 touchdowns on the board or score at least in the low 20s because it's been Wilson and nothing McBride. Scary thing is that Atlanta is the second best defense against tight ends this year. I don't know if anybody can slow down McBride, though. So this, to me, again, it's a great recipe for a game to go over. But I'm talking about key numbers. the 47.5 is pretty much gone. So 48.5 is out there, but I think that's going to be filled with fireworks, Pauly. I think the same thing could be said about Steelers-Lions. You think this Pittsburgh defense is going to slow down Detroit's offense at all?
I think Pittsburgh can move the ball. And I think the shotgun and spreading it around and everything short actually could work here. Now, the trend here you just can't get away from is 15-0 straight up and 14-1 ATS off a loss in the season on the line, too. But it goes back to the magic and the Houdini act with these guys every single week. You know, the Patriot game, also what happened in the Indianapolis game, forcing all these turnovers and breaks going your way. But they don't have the defense has been a major disappointment as well. But I want to see what they can do offensively. I will really buy in if they can move the ball in this game and protect Rodgers.
Don't go too far because the Lions' defense is not exactly great. Like, what do you mean by go all in?
Go in a playoff game.
Oh, no.
You still can't get there?
No, God, no,
oh, come
not.
on.
No.
I like what I watched with the Miami game.
No, that was fun for one game against a bad team.
Okay, fine. But the same thing with the Bears. When you look at this, it's stunning. Turnover differential, Chicago plus 20. We mocked the Bills last year. Plus 24, right. Couldn't stop anything, right? So just how good is this defense? 24th overall, 23rd against the rush, 21st in scoring. But when you're plus 20 and you have all these interceptions and 30 takeaways, right? Going to keep you in games. But I think Love's going to play clean, and they're going to win this game and beat the Bears, and then this will really shake things up in the NFC. I think they're going to win.
My money's on the other side. We're dueling here.
Yep. But I can't get past the track record and the history, though, too. They're not to mention what they've done overall on LaFleur's record, but the record that they have in Chicago, that they're 12-1 going back in Chicago. That's ridiculous.
The Packers have so many guys that got hurt.
Well, the Bears' injuries are huge now, too, though.
Yeah, where's the pass rush coming from Green Bay?
Right.
Don't think they're going to get one. I think the Parsons on-off numbers are too big of a deal to ignore.
Yeah.
And he was not the only guy to get hurt last week. And they seemingly have guys leave, the same guys, like every single. Zach Tom hurt again? Surprise, surprise. You know, that's a big deal on the offensive line. All right, so follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. This is remarkable. We'll tell you which NFL team is 18-1 straight up, 17-9 ATS in this situation. Coming up next on Follow the Money, it's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
Hear that? That's me with a lemonade in a rocker on my front porch. How did I get here? I invested to make my dream home, home. Get where you're going with MDY, the original mid-cap ETF from State Street Investment Management. Getting there starts here.
Before investing, consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Visit statestreet.com/IM for prospectus containing this and other information. Read it carefully. MDY is subject to risks similar to those of stocks. All ETFs are subject to risk, including possible loss of principal. Alps Distributors, Inc. Distributor.
Clorox Toilet Wand, it's all in one. Clorox Toilet Wand, it's all in one.
Hey, what does all in one mean?
The caddy, the wand, the preloaded pad. There's a cleaner in there. Inside the pad.
So Clorox Toilet Wand is all I need to clean a toilet?
You don't need a bottle of solution to get into this toilet revolution. Clorox, clean feels good.
Use as directed.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Believe it or not, I was actually pretty excited for the Bengals-Dolphins game before Miami said, that's enough of Tua.
Yeah.
He's done. Go to the bench, pal. We're going to go to a 7th-round pick, and we have no idea if he can play or not. The reason why I say that is because I am quite confident that Tua was actually going to make it look good against this Bengals defense, specifically with Darren Waller.
Yep.
Which excites me to levels that should not be possible. But he was going to go scorched earth. Now, does he still with Quinn Ewers as a quarterback? I honestly have no idea.
Yeah.
I would lean yes, but
it's a tough week. You know, a lot of the marquee games are picked in that range. You also have some huge favorites and some other games. And then what do you do with the quarterback changes or with this situation? I don't know what to expect from this guy. And I'm right there with you. I would have loved Waller props here and also Achane props, but they should. Maybe the kid has a horrible game and Cincinnati is okay. But I would expect Burrow to bounce back after some horrible pick sixes the last couple of weeks. And how bad. That was the worst game of his career last week. So I would think he could be able to move the ball against Miami here. And maybe Ewers makes a couple mistakes and the Bengals finally get a win.
So here's a team I was talking about, Steve Mackin, VSiN.com. Cincinnati, when they are a road favorite between 3 and 7 points since 2015, 18-1 straight up, 17-2 ATS.
Come on.
They've crushed it. A lot of that obviously has been with this guy at quarterback. How about defensive touchdown for Cincinnati?
Yeah, it's not bad. I could see that.
Always a consideration when the rookie quarterback's going to be making his first start.
Was he going to let it rip? Or is it still going to be the same song and dance like they were running with Tua? And everything's at or behind the line of scrimmage and an occasional pass. There was nothing deep to Waddle other than going back to the Buffalo win. It's been a month of dink and dunk.
So they've been eliminated from the playoffs. Maybe Mike McDaniel is comfortable and he knows it, so they don't really have to go out there and show anything. But again, Ewers is probably not your starting quarterback next year or like in the near future. But do you not want to kind of go out there and see what you have in the kid? Why not? Try to put it on display. Try to go out there for the integrity of the game and not be Phillip Rivers here, where everything is 5 yards and that's it. Let's see what the kid has, because you have nothing to play for at all. And other than like fantasy football playoffs, which is a huge deal, that would be a great game plan, I think, if he would say, yeah, we're going to change it up a little bit here and get other guys involved, and we're going to take chances throwing it deep.
Yeah, I'm concerned of the letdown that they've been eliminated too, and how they got handled on Monday night.
Is that where you're at with the Chiefs?
I could see that, absolutely. Yeah. Uncharted waters here. 10 straight playoff appearances. Now you're out of it, and your star player is also gone for the season. And Kelsey is checked out too. So, but that I'm making a case for a horrible team then. Even though you could say it's their Super Bowl and still the Chiefs are coming to town, but how bad this Titans defense is? And I wouldn't fall over if Minshew has a big game.
Yeah, maybe.
He's a veteran. He's played, he's been a starter. He was okay with Steichen's offense, and the Colts almost won a damn division. The kid catches the ball on 4th down. So still to be seeing the Chiefs at a 3-point favorite here. But the other problem is you got guys out too. So who's he throwing to? But this Tennessee defense is so bad, and they've been horrible ATS at home. But at least we're seeing some improvement with Ward in the offense, and they moved the ball against the Niners. But zero resistance last week, what they gave up defensively.
Expand on why you like Green Bay in this game against Chicago.
I think the track record in history is big. I also think they have a ton of talent. They were a playoff team last year, the Parsons injury aside. They handled themselves well and could have won that game at Philly. They had a ton of injuries in that game and were sloppy and had turnovers. Still could have won. And I'm still not there with the Bears, even though I respect them. But I think at some point the luck's going to run out with these forcing 2 turnovers 2-3 times every game. I think Love plays a big game, and maybe your buddy Williams has a couple mistakes, and they don't get the rushing game on track. And I think these injuries to Burden and Odunze are large as well.
Yeah, I would have liked the Bears more if Odunze and or Burden actually were playing in this game. But when you look at the Packers again, the Parsons injury, I think, is going to be absolutely massive. Look at some of the other guys banged up. Again, Zach Tom, missing practice this week. Van Ness, limited. Watson, how the hell is he going to play in the game? He's going to, the way it looks. He was limited.
Right, that's big, I know.
But if you go back to last week, you're like, yeah, he's probably going to miss.
Yeah.
But he'll play. Looks like Jacobs is going to play in the game. But it's the other kind of fringe guys. Evan Williams, I call him fringe because he might not be a household name, but missing practice this week. Wicks was also limited. Jalen Reed did not participate. It's a very long CVS receipt here list for Green Bay. And that game was a coin flip game in the second half.
Well, it's how you want to look at it. Glass half full or glass half empty. They're up 23-14 with the ball in the third quarter against a great defense on the road. Then I think the poor decision by LaFleur to throw at the reigning defensive player of the year, and the pass was picked, and you got Watson hurt. So you want to look at it and say you scored 26 points on the road against a great defense, or the fact that you couldn't stop Bo Nix got lit up and you lost your best player.
Yeah, the LaFleur play calling has been an issue for a long, long time. And then when you take away guys like Tucker Kraft, who's out for the year, and then seemingly you have no idea which receivers are going to be in or out of the lineup on a weekly basis,
yep,
it doesn't help.
Mm-hmm.
And you drafted a wide receiver in the first round to kind of alleviate that, and you've gotten basically nothing out of Matthew Golden. But great game tomorrow night. I bet the Bears when it was plus 1.5. We'll see how it goes.
Yep, and hopefully we'll see if the wind cooperates too in the weather. You're supposed to get gusts up to 25 miles an hour. It's supposed to feel like 10 degrees. I think these are very important for field goal props. Gusts up to 35 in New York and in Cleveland. Sunday night, gusts up to 22 miles an hour. It's going to feel like 20, 25 degrees.
Your best bet of the week is what in the NFL? Broncos?
I'd say 1A. And I think Houston opens up a can on the Raiders. I mean, you're 14 points per game, can't run the ball, can't protect the quarterback. You mentioned the Cleveland game, sacked 10 times. You're going against the number one defense and one of the hottest teams in the league, and now they're cooking offensively.
And you're going to tell me Geno's back for this game?
It's not going to go well. These numbers are just staggering. The offensive how inept they are on offense in these numbers, where you set an NFL record for allowing 4+ sacks and 75 yards rushing or fewer in 6 games in a row. And Carroll's kid is running the O-line and the rush game coordinator. I mean, it feels like last week all over again, where it's 17-0 in the first quarter. And I don't know what you guys want to do with the Fairbairn props, as he's up to $2 and change at Caesars now, over 1.5. His points total is 8.5. But this 3 weeks ago, he's plus money, and now he's over 210. But he could get this in the first quarter again.
Also, I'll tie in what happened last week in the Jacksonville Jets game.
Okay.
I think it was actually Mike Somatrite who came on the show and made a case for Trevor Lawrence not to throw an INT. It's like $1.25. Jets with 0 interceptions on the year. That was a winner. Geno Smith is second in the league at throwing INTs. And now he's going to take on this defense. I think you kind of got to bet it on by default, do you not?
Mm-hmm.
Will Geno have one? And maybe if you can find like out props on that again, will he have more than 1.5? The only problem is, and I'm being serious with this, their offensive line is so bad, and Geno Smith is back off the injury, that I could see him getting hurt again in this game, like right away, and they have to go again to a backup quarterback. Because I think it's just going to be Anderson and Hunter and company the entire day right in his face.
Well, it's not like Pickett will do anything if he has to come in either. So you saw the Philadelphia. It's just no talent, bad offensive line, and no matter who the quarterback is, he's not going to do anything.
Right. Maybe if you could find Kenny Pickett to throw an INT as a backup quarterback. Yeah. You're not going to be able to, but...
Official horse racing partner of VSiN, First Bet, built for bettors who demand more. Isn't about placing a bet, it's about helping bettors of all levels with handicapping tools that provide data-driven insights, help you make smarter bets. First Bet's in-app tools give you win, place, and show probabilities for each runner. You can quickly and easily identify good value plays and improve your ROI. Take advantage of a limited time $250 sign-up offer and claim your bonus. VSiN 250. Sign up in the First Bet app or at firstbet.com. Promo code VSiN 250. NC State housed Memphis, never a game, 31-7. Again, we've only had one over so far in the bowl games.
Oh.
And the vicious beat if you bet the over in the early game with Western Michigan and Kennesaw.
NC State was what? They closed 3.5 in the game? Yeah, no problem getting there whatsoever.
I looked up, it was 17-0. And Memphis was never in the game.
How about you want to bet the yes to a shutout again this week in the NFL?
That's good. That pays well. That's not bad. That's
I know
4 or 5 to 1.
We had 2 last week, so maybe tough to have it back-to-back weeks, but it really has nothing to do with it. It's just all based on matchups. I would actually like to see the Raiders get shut out for the second straight week, third time this year.
Could I? Yeah.
I would. The laughing stock of the NFL.
Yep. I like Charch's angle. Olave most receiving yards Sunday with those weekly specials.
I looked. I couldn't find a number. Did you see one of that?
I'll grab it to break.
Up next, we'll talk NFL awards and a derivative market in the NBA Doug Kezirian likes tonight. We talked about something after the game last night that in theory should be free money. Nothing is free money, but it should be. We'll run it down for you and tell what it is coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Coming up in 15 minutes, our best bets for the weekend in pocket plays. Now we go out to the progressive guest line. Doug Kezirian joins the program. He's with Because We Win. Follow him on X at Doug Kezirian. DK, good to talk to you, man. Now let's talk this out here for a minute, because you and I were going back and forth last night after the NFL game. And obviously, it goes without saying, but there's no such thing as a lock. There's no such thing as free money. However, Matthew Stafford at around minus $2 to win the MVP. I think the number is absolutely laughable and almost insulting. You need to add a 0 to that, in my opinion. So, your thoughts overall on the current number, and if there's something that should be done about it in terms of making bets?
Well, in a vacuum or in a perfect world, I totally agree with you. And I made the bet. It's worth betting now up until like $5, I think. I think it's insane how some of the voting has gone in recent years. I mean, I just have such a low opinion of voters at times that I just get a little gun shy. But at some point, we have to stop penalizing or punishing quarterbacks if their defense or special teams is bad. Like, I hate the win-loss record in general for quarterbacks when we compare teams, guys over the course of history. But Stafford had a monster game, over 450 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Should have had a 4th touchdown pass, but it was taken off the board in the first half because that stupid lineman down the field, which was a bogus call. But the special teams gives up a punt return. The defense, even throws a touchdown in overtime, and he still can't get the win. So, yes, there hasn't been an MVP that did not win their own division since 2008. But if the Rams and 2 other teams finish 13-4 in the division, I think that's the year you make the exception, right? But I do have concern that so many of these awards, they all want to hold out until the last little bit, and we see that in the Heisman. But in recent years, I give voters credit, whether it be last year, it didn't have to be a top-ranked team, or even going to Jaden Daniels, who didn't play a conference championship weekend. Travis Hunter was last year. So hopefully the body of work of Stafford, and I think just the other variables, like it's really hard to go back-to-back. So voter fatigue for Josh Allen. Drake May, he's too young, lost the face-off in Week 15 with Josh Allen. And Stafford leads the league in rating, passing yards, and passing touchdowns. He should already have this locked up. A lot will come down to next Monday night. They're in Atlanta. I fully expect Joe Buck and Troy Aikman to gush about him, much like we saw the broadcast team last night with the no-look pass gushing. If you go back to when Rodgers won it in the snow against the Titans, it was a Sunday night game, Collinsworth just gushing over. That influences voters, because a lot of these voters are afraid to be made fun of, and they don't want to vote stupidly. So they'll be like sheep. And so if he just plays well on Monday night, it's automatic. But I still think, even if they lose because of the defense or something fluky, I still think minus $2 or whatever it is, $2.25 is a great bet. I really don't think Josh Allen has much of a chance, even though he is the best player in the league. Stafford's had the MVP season, and I don't think Drake May has any chance right now.
Wow. Strong stuff. 9.5-point favorites on the road Monday night, by the way. I have a problem with the huge movement based on game to game, right? Not just this, but see the other. Henderson goes from 22-1 to the favorite, and Puka went from 16-1 to the favorite. Now it's back flip with JSN now, $1.60.
Well, the biggest thing with these markets is these odds makers don't really have an edge over the public, right? They don't know what's going on. They don't know what's being said. Yes, you can listen to some podcasts. There's a straw poll with bond temps in the NBA, but for the most part, they're all kept in the dark, and they're relying on sharp bettors to move the markets. But these are fake markets. During the game last night, Stafford was whatever it was, 1,500, because they had the big lead. I just think there's good opportunity. So I don't necessarily complain about the markets. I just lean into the variance.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to get opportunities. And the one thing I've noticed over the last month or so is when some of these coaches or whatever the award is, it's priced into how they've performed up until that point, but they're not really taking into account what's left the rest of the year. For example, golf weekend. Let's say Scheffler's 4 shots back after 2 rounds. He's the favorite because they're projecting how he's going to perform in rounds 3 and 4 over the weekend. But they're not doing that with some of these awards, like Coach of the Year, where remember the Bears, I think, were even money to make the playoffs with about 5 weeks left in the regular season. But then they had Ben Johnson, the second favorite of Coach of the Year. They're not factoring in the fact that the Bears will be underdogs in so many games. Now they've pulled off an upset here and there. But I just think the odds makers aren't putting in the details into all this. So there are opportunities. And you mentioned the fluctuation. I think the fluctuation of a guy like Travion Henderson is all because of the voters are so nonsensical with some of their reactions that they really just vote in December. And we talked about it a few years ago when Tibbs won Coach of the Year for the Knicks.
Yes.
We saw it coming about a mile away. And just the fact that how the New York media market, things like that. So I think bettors are much more advanced. And I know, Mitch, you guys are rolling up your sleeves with the podcast on the futures. But I think this is where we have golden opportunities in these unique markets, whether it's draft, awards, things like that.
Another guy who fits that bill about trying to predict what's going to happen is Tyler Shuck. They could easily win out.
Yep.
A lot of bad defenses, and he could probably have awesome numbers in the final 3 games. Doug Kezirian, our guest, because we win here on the Progressive Guest Line. You also really like the Tennessee Titans on Sunday against the Chiefs.
Oh.
Tell us why.
Yeah, I mean, I remember an odds maker telling me this. It was 3 guys were out for some offense, some team in the NFL. It's we hate games like this. And then it's really, if you think about it, odds makers love 2 teams at full strength, Cowboys, Eagles, Sunday night, give me 3.5, throw it on the board. These are the games they really have no clue about. The Chiefs have gone to, 7 straight AFC Championship games. They've won 3 rings in the Mahomes era. How do you handicap and power rate a team? It's not just Minshew. It's a completely deflated team that had high aspirations. Kelsey couldn't even talk to the media after last week. Their superstar, their face of the franchise, face of the league, is tore his ACL. And now they got to go face these lowly Titans. You think they're practicing hard. Andy Reid's maybe past his prime with some of those decisions in that Texans game. Is he really poring over game film? Do they really care about this game? So I would be looking into alt lines, Titans money line, Titans minus 6.5. How do we have any confidence the Chiefs show up? Now, it's not the NBA where some team will lose by 40 or 50. I think the Nets won by 40 the other night. But because guys are playing for contracts and even backups and things like that. But I don't think they're going to be prepared at all. I think this is going to look like that Commanders performance after that huge emotional Sunday night game that went into overtime. The next week, they went and got crushed in Minnesota. I see a similar performance. And the Titans have looked much more competent since the new coaching change with Mike McCoy. And you look at the last couple of weeks, Cam Ward, I think, has taken this seriously. I think he's got great talent. So I think they're going to get up for this game. Now, whether they're good enough is a different story. But I think they are, and I could see the Chiefs laying an egg. So honestly, I thought the wrong team was favored. I thought this was should be a preseason game where the Titans are favored. And I don't expect much for the Chiefs because I just think it's a completely demoralized locker room right now.
Could be. Good angle. And you can identify the rollover very well. I'm interested. 3 minutes left. This is interesting. A quarter bet in the NBA. You wrote about this in the New York Post as well. Cavs, worst team in the league, ATS, 8-20. They just lost to Chicago. Now they're laying 4.5 at home. You're talking, you want a second quarter bet here?
Well, this is really important for live betting too, because all odds maker, I forget which odds maker told me this, but he made a joke. I think this goes back to Alabama, right? First quarters and first halves and things like that. They're lazy because they don't want to figure that stuff out. All they do is take the game line and do the half and quarter lines commensurate with that. And it's too hard to figure out substitution patterns. So when there's giant drop-offs with substitution patterns, you can sort of, pounce in the NBA live wagering. Well, with quarter lines, there's also substitution patterns in that regard, especially when a team is shorthanded, like the Cavaliers. Now, Donovan Mitchell came out and came back in and started the second quarter the other day, but Cleveland's really hurting offensively with guys like Evan Mobley out and things like that. So the second quarter, it was my best bet on one of my shows the other night because they just played the other day, and they landed 53, I think, in the second quarter, and the second quarter total is 58.5. I just think when you know the substitution patterns and there's a drop off and things like that, you can sort of, it's the margins, it's the edges. And I think that's an edge when they're going to run it back tonight because, there's the way the game flows and the substitution, certain personnel on the court. Second quarter is when a lot of these teams have their bench unit in, at least the first 6 minutes. I mean, if you think about Jokic, he doesn't play the first 5 minutes of the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So in this Cavs-Bulls game, now look, Chicago can score at will and their defense can give up a bunch. But I bet it the other night. I'm betting it tonight. I think it's a good play, under 58.5.
Beautiful.
But I do think the Cavs are shaky. They should not be laying 7.5 points against anyone these days.
I'm not taking away from your handicapping at all or your research. That sounds a lot like Harala Bob Vulgaris. That is a beautiful angle there, how you're thinking and how you're handicapping that.
Well, it's better if Mobley subs out. Sorry, not Mobley. Mitchell subs out for 3 minutes in the first quarter and then starts the second quarter, but he comes out as well in the second quarter for 3-4 minutes. So I think they're staggering it. But even when they stagger it, if it's a disruption to their normal routine, pro athletes are creatures of habit.
Right.
There's an edge in that angle as well.
Doug, great stuff. Follow him on X. He is at Doug Kezirian with Because We Win, and he was on the Progressive guest line. That was Dynamite, man. Thanks for the time. Best of luck this weekend.
All right, you got it, fellas. See you soon. I'm headed over to Circa.
Very good. Up next, we'll recap our plays from last night and tell you what we've added for tonight and this weekend. College football, NFL, boxing, anything else? That's next here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Hear that? That's me with a lemonade in a rocker on my front porch. How did I get here? I invested to make my dream home, home. Get where you're going with MDY, the original mid-cap ETF from State Street Investment Management. Getting there starts here.
Before investing, consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Visit statestreet.com/IM for a prospectus containing this and other information. Read it carefully. MDY is subject to risks similar to those of stocks. All ETFs are subject to risk, including possible loss of principal. Alps Distributors, Inc. Distributor.
Pacifico is a Mexican lager brewed to be discovered. It's like fresh tracks on a powder day. Like that uncharted trail a stone's throw away. Like the perfect wave on a sunny day. Pacifico. Find your own way. 21 plus. Drink responsibly. Imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
He knows the quarterback was on coke if his girlfriend was not.
These games are a burial, a blowout, a human lock. You can bet your children's unborn children on these games.
I was so good that whenever I bet, I could change the odds for every bookmaker in the country.
All right, getting ready for our first playoff game. Oklahoma up to 2 in several spots. And the total 41.5 at DraftKings. Even though with a bad offense, great defense, and wind in the forecast. The props have been good. The kicking props have been good. Last night, no fun. Incredible Puka, 12 for 225, but did not have a catch in the second quarter.
You got to be.
I can't believe it. And JSN, they waited a half to get him going. What was with that first drive? 2nd and 1, shotgun incomplete. 3rd and 1, shotgun incomplete. How many throws did you see last night, 3rd and 1? It was both teams.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then thicker kicker let us down too. Field goal every quarter was 4-1. Al Michaels got him good with that one. He hasn't missed the whole year. And Michaels thought it was right down the middle. And it takes a right turn. Were they going to win if he makes that? There was still a lot of time.
I will lean yes. But should the Rams have gone for 2 in overtime?
That's interesting. That's not a bad angle as well.
I hate to say this, by the way. It kills me as a guy who grew up loving broadcasters. I got into the business to be a play-by-play guy. It's curtains for Al Michaels.
Oh.
He was the touchdown to Nakua last night. Come on, Al. Come on. If you're getting an air check and you're going for a job anywhere, it doesn't matter what level, you're not getting the job, man. Come on. Act like you actually care to be there and you want the job. You're doing a terrible... I can't rant too much about it because I love the guy and he's on the Mount Rushmore, but he stinks right now.
Yeah. I'm glad he snuck in Puka. Doesn't like the vegetables. Glad he got that in there. All right, onward and upward. Alabama tonight. Roll Tide. Broncos laying 3 against Jacksonville. I think they make life difficult for Lawrence. And an hilarious angle, teams after playing the Jets 1-12 ATS. And Bo Nix has been cooking. Army money line $1.45 against UConn. Fenway Bowl, it's up to 10. Bears to miss the playoffs, plus 160. Navy lane 4 against Cincinnati January 2nd. That's up to 7. Could go higher. Saints 4.5 up to 6.5. See if they can cash a ticket first quarter on the money line. Buccaneers money line against Panthers. Mayfield 5-0 against them career. Average margin 11 points per game. Still holds it against him. He was cut. Chip on the shoulder. The fight coming up tonight. Over 2.5 rounds, $1.55. I think Joshua will prop him up and make him look good. Both teams to make a 33-yard field goal in the Charger-Cowboys game, a game you can ladder with 2 of the best kickers, the most accurate all-time, Dicker, and the best from distance, Aubrey, and Dart to have 30 yards rushing or more against the Vikings. Flores will send the house, and blitz is a ton. A couple of those won't get home. Dart will take off and run. He's aggressive, as he has said over and over and over again. That's what got me here. I'm going to continue to be aggressive and take off and run. He got it on 1 carry last week. Let's see if he can do the same thing against the Vikings. Good luck, everyone.
Do you mind if I ask which book you got the both teams 33-yard field goal at minus 115?
That is DK.
That's DK?
Yeah, watch that too, because there are some books that have gone to 35 yards on that.
Well, Westgate's at $1.80.
Oh, mama.
On 33 plus.
Holy
so
cow.
$1.15 is an absolute bargain then.
Yeah.
And no doubt worth a bet at DraftKings. Okay.
Are you seeing differences in Fairbairn?
I haven't even looked. I saw where it went at Caesars, and I'm like, that's
it
for me, because they were the only shop where you could actually bet him. Because he was $1.75.
Yeah.
He was $2 at every other book.
Yeah.
So, all right. I've actually, I don't know, that game last night, for one evening, the results went my way. And I was actually hoping I would lose some of these bets based on my Rams futures. But I also thought the numbers were wrong. Meaning I bet the Seahawks plus 1.5, thinking that they should be favored. I bet them live multiple times in the game on the money line to win, hoping I would lose. And I didn't. And that stinks, because my Rams future bets pay a lot of money. And now they're going to have to, more than likely, play 3 road playoff games just to get there.
I felt dirty how it was decided.
Me too. How about the touchdown that was called back for the Rams?
Yeah.
From the 1 yard line, illegal man down the field. Who are we kidding with that?
I just can't believe the 2-point play. I just can't believe it after 5 minutes. Oh, you know what? And I heard a whistle too, but.
Oh, there was definitely a whistle. And back in, I saw stuff on social media. People broke it down. There was a whistle.
Yeah.
By the way, Charbonnet, he didn't run over there to make it think like, hey, this is a live ball. He just randomly happened to pick the ball up. Everybody gave up on the play. Dead play. Total silliness that they actually got away with that. But plus 1.5 was a winner last night. Darnold over 222.5, needed overtime. That was a winner. The first half under cashed. Cooper Kupp's fumble.
Big.
I had no business winning that bet. Absolutely none. How the Rams they should have had a 2-touchdown lead probably at halftime.
Yeah.
Seahawks were terrible. Rams did whatever they want. How do you lose the game? Oh, by the way.
The 3 and outs. There's too much talent on this team, and you got the MVP at quarterback. You should. Seattle's also playing the clock there, McVay.
Forgot to even bring this up today. Great job by Amazon Prime. All-time records. Rams, when leading by 15-plus points in the fourth quarter, 323-1. Seahawks, when trailing by 15-plus points in the fourth quarter, 0 for 172.
Forgot to put that in win-lose. They were 40-1 in play. Down 16 with 7 minutes left.
All right, we'll see where the CLV goes. Got the Bears plus 1.5 in pocket against the Packers. They're now laying 2 Saturday night. Broncos bet them 3 against the Jags early in the week. They're up to 3.5. Clemson, I think I read 27 opt-outs.
Whoa.
Against Penn State, give me the under that game, 48.5 when they play in their bowl game. New plays for the weekend. That's actually Ole Miss minus 9.5. I'm confident in this team tomorrow, and they have.
I like your angle.
Yeah,
we're going to stick at the Kiffin and we're going to be fine. We got the right coaches here.
Yep, so I'm laying 9.5 points with Ole Miss in the first half. I found this teaser, putting Alabama +8 on it with Detroit -1 in the NFL, -110. I know you're not supposed to tease college games. It's a very low total. Alabama, I mean, if they played the game 100 times, how many times did they get blown out by more than one score against Oklahoma? A handful, maybe, tops. So one off, I'll take my chances with the 8 there. And Detroit down to 1 on a 2-team teaser, and then I got to be on the Titans. I don't want to look back at this game on Sunday afternoon and say, what was I thinking? How did I not bet against the Chiefs? There's no way that they care about finishing out the season. Andy Reid looked like he was completely toast in the Sunday night game against Houston.
Yeah.
So give me the Titans +3.
Good luck. Want to bet smarter this holiday season? VSiN has the perfect gift to the sports bettor in your life. Take advantage of the holiday special. Get VSiN Pro access through May 1st, just $79. Every best bet, every host, every guest, the betting splits, DraftKings and Circa, the AI-powered prop tools everyone loves. Check out the NBA props as well. Limited time holiday special. The website is on fire. So much great stuff up there. Cohen and Burke with the game previews of every bowl game. Check it out, VSiN.com/subscribe. Ready for the fight. Jake Paul, 7-8-1. Dog in that range. At DraftKings, 90% of the money has been on Paul. If Paul wins tonight, it'll cost the company $100 million.
You're kidding me.
That's from David Purdom. Brandon Yeager at Caesars Sportsbook. He expects the overall amount wagered on the fight tonight to be lower than Paul Tyson because of the price, but betting interest is high. The handle has already passed the Paul Chavez Jr. fight. So far, the largest bet has been 90 to win 10 on Joshua. At Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook in Florida, lopsided as well on the dog. Florida loves Paul. It's simple as that. It's one-way action. Not unexpected.
All right, so if you want to be on the right side of corruption here, would you take any 8-1, or would you take any draw price at like 25 to 1?
That's not bad. Yeah.
This also, like if Joshua doesn't knock him on his ass and kill him in the first couple of rounds, don't you think this could be a good live betting event tonight?
Like the Tyson fight.
Yeah.
That's right. It's like you knew right away there's nothing there. He can't hurt him, and he's got nothing in the tank. And he appeared to be injured, too. Either fighter to be knocked down in rounds 1 through 3, $5. Either fighter to be knocked down in round 1 or 2, -150. Paul to be knocked down in the first minute of any round, $1.25.
If Paul wins the fight and it doesn't look good by Joshua, is this it then? Sportsbooks are going to say we're never going to book another fight here? It's not an actual event? And then call into question really what's taking place?
Yeah, absolutely. But the sport's done it to himself, though.
Of course.
It's like, remember the Burt Sugar line. I mean, how many black eyes can you... You can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
To be knocked down 2 times and win is 65 to 1. To be knocked down in round 1 and win, Joshua's 65 to 1. Paul's 65 to 1.
We're back Sunday morning, tailgate show, 9 a.m. Eastern. Next Friday Football Invitational with Matt Humans, followed by the Sports Gambling Podcast. Good luck this weekend.
Hear that? That's me with a lemonade in a rocker on my front porch. How did I get here? I invested to make my dream home, home. Get where you're going with MDY, the original mid-cap ETF from State Street Investment Management. Getting there starts here.
Before investing, consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Visit statestreet.com/IM for a prospectus containing this and other information. Read it carefully. MDY is subject to risks similar to those of stocks. All ETFs are subject to risk, including possible loss of principal. Alps Distributors, Inc. Distributor.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The holidays were tricky for the Colonel. He loved people, but he also loved peace and quiet. So he cooked up KFC's $4.99 chicken pot pie. Warm, flaky, with savory sauce and vegetables. It's a tender chicken-filled excuse to get some time to yourself and step away from decking the halls, whatever that means. The Colonel lived so we could chicken. KFC's Chicken Pot Pie. The best $4.99 you'll spend this season.
Prices and participation may vary while supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.